Hi, everybody. It's me again, and it is a Wednesday. So let's get started. Today, we're going to demonstrate the role of theater as it reflects of history, society, culture through the participation of dramatic activities. And to show that we are able to do that, we are going to perform a final scene. So as always, our cameras are on, we are muted, we've checked in, and the question of the day today is a role play question. So we're going to pretend as we answer. Pretending, I, Miss Reddy, have just finished acting. It was bad. It was real bad. Okay. What critique would you give me that will help me improve, but that would not hurt my feelings? So let's think for a second. Let's say that I was bad in that you couldn't hear me. A critique might be, well, even though I liked naming something else I did that was okay, perhaps you could speak louder so that you could be heard. That would be a polite critique. So naming something good and then something that was not so good and then how to fix it. So let's look at our agenda for today. We're going to do a theater exercise called Bumblebees. We're going to review our critiques from the day before. That was your assignment yesterday. We're going to break down a story. Then we're going to go into breakout scenes and practice breaking down a story and then act it out. For asynchronous work, you're going to create blocking for a scene. And reminder, tomorrow we're playing Wolf, guys, so you have to have your character. We talked about it last week, how to create a character. We did it together. We made our characters. So don't forget, if you haven't made a character yet, please do that. You're not using the one we created in class. You're creating one all by yourself. All right? All right, so the game that we would have played is called Bumblebees. So we're going to go Bumblebee, 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 bumblebee. So it's a vocal warm-up. I am not warm, so I'm sure that was pitchy and cracky, but that's okay. So we do that warm-up to warm up our vocal cords so that when we're acting, we're not going to hurt ourselves. So let's go onto Canvas and look at, well, we can't actually look at the critiques right now because, fun fact, it's Sunday, so Tuesday hasn't happened yet. But in class, we will review the answers that you gave on Tuesday. So let's look at breaking down a story. So we're going to go to Canvas. We're going to go to our homepage. We're going to click on Assignments. We're going to click on Wednesday. And this is the work that we're doing today. So to review the previous answers, you'll click this button and it will take you to the discussion. And by the time you're looking at this, it will have other answers other than only mine. And so you can look through some of those. So we're going to talk about breaking down a story. So on this page, it is a very long page, but it is a step-by-step look at how to break down a story and turn it into an acting scene. So you are allowed to use this for your homework. You are allowed to use this while you are in the breakout room. Somebody can pull it up on their iPad and screen share it. That is totally acceptable. Step 1, choose your story and popcorn your ideas. Now, when we are in the breakout room, I'm going to give your room a story. So you will not have to choose a story. But for your homework, you will have a choice and you can choose between 3 stories. For the purposes of this example, we're going to use the story If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. That is a children's book about a little mouse who always wants more and more and more things. So if you give him something, he wants something else, all the way until the very end where he ends up also wanting a cookie. So it starts with him wanting a cookie and it ends with him wanting a cookie, indicating that the story is just going to start over. So step 2, identify the characters and choose the roles. In the book, there are 2 characters, the boy and the mouse. There is a children's television show that is based on this book where there are more characters, but we are doing the story, all right? Now, step 3 is only going to be used for the asynchronous assignment, but I still want to explain it to you. So the locations in the story, you need these locations for blocking, for movement, and for script writing. So the locations in the story are outside, inside the kitchen, inside the bathroom, a living room, and a bedroom. So we would write all of them down. If your story has different locations, obviously you're writing the different locations. Step 4, identify the story elements and create your BME. He wants a cookie, the mouse. He wants several other items, and then he wants another cookie. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take what we know so far, and we're going to figure out how to apply it to our group, and I'll show you what that means in a second. We're going to create our BME. Once we've done that, we're going to practice repeatedly until you are retrieved. Please do not practice once and stop. You need to practice again and again and again because, again, this is live theater. Something different happens every time you do it. It will never be the same. So you need to practice it as many times as you can so you'll be prepared for whatever happens when you're doing the real performance. Step 6, perform. At this point, I will have you perform, and we will, step 7, give and receive critiques. So I have performed. You have given me a critique. We have talked about critiques. We spent all day Tuesday doing critiques. I have to then receive the critique. Now, I need to understand this is not personal. It is not personal. If somebody couldn't hear you, they couldn't hear you. That could be on them. It really could, or it could be on you not speaking loud enough. But they're not saying it to be hurtful. So when someone gives me a critique, I want to say thank you. I don't have to agree. I don't have to do any of the suggestions they give me, but I need to be polite in my response because the critiques are there to help me. Now, most of the time, the critiques are right. If everyone couldn't hear me, then probably I wasn't talking loud enough. But don't feel like just because you got a critique that they're hating on you. They're not hating on you, all right? So now let's do one together. I have 3 people in my group. These are their names, Molly, Kinsey, and Ray. I have indicated in here some questions that you may find yourself asking and the answers to those questions. So the first thing you're going to do is they're going to popcorn their ideas. They have too many people. So let's figure out, how do we fix that? There's only supposed to be the boy and the mouse. How do I make a scene with 3 people? Well, Molly says we could use a narrator. That is correct. Kinsey says she doesn't have to act. That is not correct. Everyone acts. Nobody doesn't act. That's how it works. Okay? Ray says they could invent a whole new role, the mom. They vote between Molly and Ray's idea wins. So the majority of people vote to include a mom. Again, vote one time. Roles. Molly and Kinsey both want to be the mouse. So they're going to paper, rock, scissors it out once. Now, if you tie, then you got to keep going until you win. It's, you're trying to win. It's not best 2 out of 3. It's a one and done. Kinsey wins. Kinsey gets to be the mouse. So then they decide Kinsey is the mouse, Molly is the mom, Ray is the boy. Now the locations part, again, would be for your homework part. So let me show you what that looks like. This part is the scene with the dialogue. But before the scene, you write where they are. So we write outside. Then we write what is happening. These are called stage directions. And then the mouse speaks. These are the words that he speaks, the dialogue. And then the boy replies. Now the boy leads the mouse inside. The words that are not in parentheses are not in parentheses. The words that are in quotes are spoken. If they are not in quotes, they are not spoken. These words are called stage directions, and they tell you what to do. They tell you where to go. They tell you what to wear. They tell you how to be. Sometimes it'll say angry, or it'll say yellow bonnet, something like that. And then a second example, inside the kitchen. Here you go, it's chocolate chip. So Again, that is only for the async work. Then you have the story and the BME. Together, they discuss how to do this. In the end, what they decide is that they ask for a cookie, then they ask for milk, then they ask for matches, and that's where they introduce their new character, the mom, because the mom says no matches, but the mom does give them a blanket. And then they both get tucked into bed, and then the mouse asks for a cookie. That is what they decide on. This is an example of how they decided on that. You can read that on your own. Then they would practice. So the official BME written out would look like this. Beginning, mouse meets boy and asks for cookie. There's a definite solid beginning. Middle, mouse asks for lots of things with the climax of the scene being the matches. End, the mouse and the boy get tucked into bed and the mouse asks the mom for one more cookie. So this is this. These two things are the same thing. They are just phrased slightly differently. This is phrased more like a story. This is put into the categories of beginning, middle, and end. But it is the same idea. Now that they've decided on their BME, they can practice. Students practice until they're called back from the breakout scenes. Then they're going to perform. Now, when you introduce yourself for your performance, it is called a slate. And what you do is you say, hello, I am Ray, and I will be playing the boy. Our scene is called If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. This is called a slate, and only the first person in the group needs to say what the name of the scene is. The rest of them can simply say, hi, I'm Molly, and I'm playing the mom, or hi, I'm Kinsey, and I'm playing the mouse. All right. After the performance is over, you end by turning and saying, thank you. That allows us as the audience to know that you are finished. Then we will start with critiques. So I generally will give the first critique, and then I will ask for volunteers. Here are some examples of ways that you can give a critique. Ray, I like the way you moved as your character, but I struggled to hear you. Perhaps next time you could be a little louder. That is a perfectly fine critique. It is always best practice to compliment the actor before you give them the critique. The key word here is opinion. It is an opinion. Art is subjective, means it's different for everyone. Some people see something as art, some people see things as trash, some people see things as being good, some people see them as being bad. That's why you have people who love a movie and hate a movie, people who love art and who hate art. It's an opinion. It's opinion. That doesn't make it true. It's not a fact. It's an opinion. So try not to be overtly offended if somebody gives you a critique that you do not quite agree with. You can simply say, thank you, and you don't have to think about it anymore. Okay, just out of sight, out of mind. All right. Now, once that has happened, we will go back to the Zoom. And what's going to happen is we're going to put you into breakout rooms. Now, each breakout room is going to have a story attached to it. So if you're in room 1, you're Goldilocks and the 3 Bears. The people in your room are going to have jobs. These are the jobs. We're going to have 1 timer, 1 facilitator, 1 scribe, and 1 speaker. Now, once you go into the room, you're going to follow those steps that we just went over. These 7 steps right here. You're going to go in your room, and we're going to try and work out the scene. Depending on how easy the understanding is based on the assignment, we may chunk it and do it step by step. Or if y'all are really, cool with it, you understand, you're doing a good job, then I'll let you do the whole thing at once. Then we will perform and give our critiques. I will ask you write in the chat something you learned about scene work today and one thing you need help with. We probably won't have time for a 5-minute break, but I will try and give you at least 2 or 3 minutes to write an answer in the chat. I will ask you how you feel about the critiquing and how you feel about the scene work today, and you will put a 1 through 4 in the chat. Again, if you put a 3 or a 4, please put the question that you have in the chat. The asynchronous work is going to be to log into Canvas and go to the creating blocking for your scene assignment. So on Canvas, underneath or on Wednesday, it says creating blocking for your scene. When you click on that, it will open this. This is the part where you're going to choose a story. So there are 3 stories right here, and these links will take you to the actual story if you don't know what the story is about. So if you don't like these 2 stories, but you don't know this story, click on it, go read it. It's not long, it's like a bedtime story. Now that you've picked a story, you're going to stage your story. So where can the actors look so it appears that they're talking to each other? What actions can they do in the space where they are? What are their facial expressions? What does your lighting look like? And you can turn in one of these 2 or both. I'm always good with both. You can either send me a photo of your scene on paper. So not a photo, but like a picture of your scene on paper, and model of the stage and a script. So here's an example of what a picture of that would look like. So this is a drawn picture of all my little actors on stage, of what the stage looks like. You get the big beanstalk in the middle, you got your curtains, you've got your set in the back, and all your pretty colors. So this would be a picture of your scene. And then you would also attach your script, okay? We'll look at that in just a second. The second way that you could turn this assignment in, if you don't want to do that, is you can upload a video of yourself performing every role doing the staging. So walking around, interacting with invisible people, and then you do it again from the other person's point of view. So you play both people and you walk through the entire scene, all right? Now let's talk about what this means, the script, okay? So let me show you how to do the script. We're going to use the ugly duckling. There once was a mother duck. This duck had no children, yet none of her eggs had hatched. All right? So one thing that we might do is we might say that this could be a narrator. And so we might have somebody with a book come out on stage and begin to speak. And while they're speaking, the mother duck would come on stage. So when I would act it out, I would act it out as the narrator. We'll say, there once was a mother duck, and then I might go as the mother duck, and then come back to the narrator. The mother duck had no children, so she might be sad. None of her eggs had hatched. She waited patiently day and night for her babies to hatch, so she would be waiting patiently. That kind of a thing. You go through and you act all of it out. So you would want to reformat this. So anything that is spoken needs to be in the quotes, and it needs to say who is saying it. So it would say narrator dash quotes, there was once a mother duck, quote. And that's how you write the script. A good example of this would be Jack and the Beanstalk. It is mostly already written as a script, so you can kind of do that if you needed to. But there are 3 choices, and you may choose. So you need the script and the picture if you do option 1. Or you can make a video of you performing all of the characters and then just only turn in the video. You can record the video on Canvas, or you can record the video separately and upload it to Canvas. This is all due by Friday, so you will have 3 days to do this assignment. If you have a sibling at home, you may work together on your assignment if you are doing option 2. If you are doing option 1, then that needs to be different. You need to do your own work. But if you are doing option 2, you can both work together to act the scene out, because I know I have a couple of siblings. I have 2 or 3 sets of siblings. So, for you guys. All right. Don't forget that we are playing Wolf on Thursday. All right, so have your character ready. I'm excited to play. I hope this was helpful, and I hope you have a great day. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye.